أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ورضي الله تعالى عن السادة التابعين وعلماء العاملين وأئمة الأربعة المجتهدين ومقلديهم إلى يوم الدين أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Alhamdulillah, it's been a minute since I've done a live broadcast. MashaAllah, very busy. But before I get started, I won't be on here long, but before I get started, how is my sound? Please someone tell me how my sound is. Too low? Too loud? Can't hear me? Somebody tell me something, inshallah. I'm waiting for someone to tell me how I sound. If you can hear me. Slightly muffled. How about this now? Is it a little better? Testing some new stuff out. See, I got a little microphone here. Clear. Allahu Akbar. So obviously, you know, we're in Pittsburgh, so Maghrib is going to come in any minute. And if you're further back east, Maghrib is already in for you. But, you know, alhamdulillah, we're going to start broadcasting more regularly like we used to, probably even more so, inshallah. But our regular classes probably won't get started till after Ramadan, but we will do some video every day, inshallah. So this is a Black lesson. You know, it's Black History Month, but you know, we Black all year round. We're Black all year round. So this is nothing new, nothing special for us. Inshallah, a little later on, if you follow me on my social media, you know that I, every day, or almost every day, I've been posting a different scholar or leader who was Ashari in creed. Ashari as far as, you know, their belief, their system of beliefs. And these are selections from a book that's coming out, inshallah. So I'm just putting it out piecemeal. Today's entry that I intend to put up is about Sheikh Ahmadu Baba. Sheikh Ahmadu Baba, who died in the year 1032. Sheikh Ahmadu Baba of Timbuktu. Not to be confused with Sheikh Ahmadu Bamba from the Senegal area, who died in 1346. A lot of people get the two confused. Ahmadu Baba, Ahmadu Bamba, Bamba with an M. I think because of the popularity of Senegal and the spiritual brotherhoods that have a foundation in Senegal, most people are probably more familiar with Sheikh Ahmadu Bamba with that M in there. But today's entry, inshallah, will be about Sheikh Ahmadu Baba, who is about 300 years before him from Timbuktu. And this is extremely important because obviously this is a Black African scholar. He's writing in the 1500 CE. He's writing in the 1500 CE. So he's writing during the height, close to the beginning period of the slave trade. And Sheikh Uthman Dan Fodio, Takamaduhullahu birahmati Ameen, may Allah envelop him in his mercy, Ameen, who comes about 200 and some change years later. He's writing in his book called The Obligation for Making Hijrah on the Servants, Bayanu Wujub al Ibad. And he has a section in the introduction where he's talking about different areas in Africa, and he's giving you a picture of what it looks like as far as how the people are they Muslim or not. And then he says this right here. He says, basically, if you were to ask me if the Black Africans or the sub-Saharan Africans, if they were forced into Islam or if they came into Islam voluntarily, he says, قال الشيخ أحمد بابا في كتاب الكشف والبيان لأصناف مجلوب السودان. So he mentions the book, and he's basically saying, I say what he says. إنهم أسلموا بلا استيلاء أحد عليهم. That they, meaning Black Africans, accepted Islam without being conquered by anyone. They entered or accepted Islam without being conquered by anyone. Subhanallah. Who is this coming from? Is it coming from some apologist or some African American Muslim that's just being apologetic and just saying whatever makes Islam look good? No, this is a Black African scholar speaking during the time period when many of our ancestors were being brought to the United States as slaves. And Sheikh Uthman Dan Fodio is quoting him. And he says, Black Africans entered Islam without being conquered by anyone. So a lot of times people say, oh, you know, the Arabs enslaved the Africans and made them Muslims, or the Africans came in and forced Islam upon them. And they mention different incidents in history and try to make it appear, you know, because every lie has a smidget of truth in it. So they mention some stuff that really happened, take it out of context, and make it seem like that's how the bulk of the African continent is Muslim now. But you have a Black African scholar who's saying Africans became Muslim without being conquered by anyone. And not too many people that can say that. Not too many people can say that. So we're kicking off Black History Month. And a lot of Afrocentric oriented people, they have an aversion to Islam because they believe in the lie that Africans were forced into Islam. They actually believe that. But they're not talking to the Africans themselves and the African scholars themselves. And so this information is very important. So what book did I quote? I quoted a book by Sheikh Uthman Dan Fodio, dealing with the obligations of making hijrah. And Sheikh Uthman Dan Fodio died in the year 1232 after hijrah. He died in the year 1232. That's 1817 CE. He's quoting Sheikh Ahmadu Baba, who died in the year 1032. I forget what that is, CE. That's 1500 something. And they're both is saying, that's the reason why the Sheikh who quoted him, because he said, I'm saying what he says, that Black Africans embraced Islam without being conquered by anyone. Now, who you going to believe? Some Afrocentric so-called scholar who doesn't have access to the historical books that the African Muslims themselves wrote, like the two main ones, Tariq Sudan and Tariq Fatash, two books about West African history written by Black African scholars, and those books are in the Arabic language. And a lot of these self-taught Afrocentric YouTube scholars don't have access to that. And the ones who they inherited their bad opinion against or about Islam from, they didn't have access to that. But now they do, so there's no excuse, because those books have been translated into English. So if they really wanted to know how Black folks in Africa came to Islam, it's available to them in English. And this is why I always say that the so-called Afrocentrics, they're nothing but Eurocentrics in blackface. They hate Arabs and Islam because the Eurocentric scholars hate Arabs and Islam. And when you really dig into what an Arab was or is, you can't separate it from Africans or Black folks. Because if you're talking about skin color, the classical Arabs was just as dark as any of us. So I just wanted to come in. Really, I wanted to do a few things at the same time. I'm not going to stay long. This is not a full-length class. One of the things I wanted to do is to begin doing videos again during this month of Black History. Also, I wanted to test some of this equipment out. Number three, I wanted to mention something about Black history and Islam. This is what we call our Black lessons. And also what I wanted to do is remind you of what we have coming up in June. Where is it? We have our tour coming up in June. We originally had scheduled it for February, but we postponed it and pushed it back for June. There it is. You might need to see it on a big screen to get it clear. But alhamdulillah, we're going back to Senegal, Gambia, and we're doing it big this time. Well, alhamdulillah, we're doing it big, June 28th to July 7th. So we're going to Goree Island like we did before. We're going to where Kunta Kinte was from, Jufure. We're doing all of that. We're doing the safari. We didn't do that before. We're doing the safari. We're having a building new bridges conference. You know, this conference is designed to connect the hands and the hearts of the African Muslims in the diaspora and the African Muslims still on the continent. We're doing it all. We're doing all that this time, alhamdulillah. So that's coming up in June. And as you can see in the comments, if you want to join, there's the website, Nor African Tours. It only costs you $250 to hold your spot. It only costs you $250 to hold your spot. You can make monthly payments, weekly payments, all that kind of good stuff. It's all facilitated for you. So this is what I wanted to do. Maghrib is in for us here. Like I said, I just wanted to kick off Black History Month with a little Black history. And so we did that talking about Sheikh Ahmadu Baba from Timbuktu, who said that Africans embraced Islam without being conquered by anyone. That's his quote. And like I said, I wanted to test out this equipment, and I wanted to give you information about this tour. I don't have a schedule yet, but I'm going to try to do something every day. So it'll probably be around this time. Allah knows best. But just stay up with us on our social media as we organize it, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward and bless all of you for joining. And it feels good. It feels good to be back interacting with all of you. And all of you who gave me the greetings. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, I pray to see you all tomorrow, inshallah. At what time? I don't know. Most likely, maybe after Maghrib. But in any case, I'll let you know one way or another. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta wa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Wal 'asr innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa 'amilu salihati wa tawassaw bil haqqi wa tawassaw bis sabr. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.